You're standing in the kitchen, trying to follow a recipe you found online, but you have to scroll past 2,000 words of childhood memories, 3 auto-playing ads, and a pop-up newsletter subscription just to find out how much salt to use. The workarounds we use for this are clunky. We take a dozen screenshots that get lost in our camera rolls, spend 20 minutes manually typing ingredients into a Notes app, or paste a simple link into a family chat, hoping the website doesn't disappear next year. Cuinatelia solves this by using artificial intelligence to instantly extract the actual recipe data from the clutter, while also building a private network to share those clean recipes directly with your friends and family. By combining automated data structuring with a private social graph, the isolated and messy process of gathering recipes turns into an organized, collaborative digital kitchen. This diagram shows how Cuinatelia captures data. You can feed the system almost anything: a blog URL, a pasted block of text from an Instagram caption, a photo of a cookbook page, or even a raw audio voice note. Notice how the audio path splits off from the others. Because translating spoken instructions directly into structured data requires complex interpretation, the system automatically routes all audio files to Google Gemini, utilizing its native multimodal processing capabilities. The text, image, and link inputs enter a multi-provider fallback cascade. To ensure your extraction doesn't fail due to a rate limit or a busy server, the system first tries your personal API key. If that fails, it immediately switches to a shared server key, rapidly cycling through language models from Google, Grok, and GitHub until a connection succeeds. Ultimately, all these technical pathways converge into a single output, a uniformly formatted JSON file that neatly categorizes the title, ingredients, and step-by-step instructions. This extraction engine guarantees you receive clean, actionable cooking instructions every time. It strips away the noise of the modern web and handles transient server errors in the background, entirely removing the burden of manual data entry. Before anything is permanently saved to your database, the system presents the extracted data in an editable form. You have a chance to review the numbers and correct any AI hallucinations, like making sure the recipe asks for a teaspoon of cayenne pepper rather than a cup. If you're working with an older, vague family recipe, you can click Complete with AI. The system analyzes your ingredients and steps to automatically calculate and fill in missing metadata, such as prep times, difficulty levels, and categorization tags. You can also generate a cover image on demand. Cuinatelia sends a descriptive prompt based on your meal to the pollinations.ai API, which returns a high-quality, photorealistic food image to attach to the file. To maintain transparency in your digital library, any recipe that uses one of these computer-generated images automatically displays a permanent AI badge. Through this brief review and refinement step, what started as a messy Instagram caption or an incomplete scrap of text becomes a fully realized, highly visual, and cleanly structured digital asset. Because Cuinatelia is built as a progressive web app, it caches your data locally using service workers. This offline mode means you can pull up your ingredient list in the middle of a grocery store aisle, even if you have zero cell service. You also maintain total ownership of your data. A bulk export feature lets you download your entire recipe collection as human-readable text files, formatted HTML documents, or clean JSON data at any time. True utility requires that your tools work entirely on your terms. Your digital kitchen remains fully accessible without an internet connection, and you can pull your data out of the ecosystem whenever you choose. This diagram illustrates the Cuinare Verso, a private social graph built specifically for intimate sharing. Instead of a public feed where you broadcast to strangers, your network is restricted strictly to connections you trust. You control exactly who sees your recipes. You can proactively invite a friend to view your book, or a friend can search your email to request access. In both cases, a central confirmation is required before any data is shared across the network. Once inside a shared recipe, you have dedicated tools for collaboration. You can leave public comments for the whole group, or open a private recipe-linked chat thread directly with the author to ask about an ingredient substitution. If you try a friend's recipe and want to make your own adjustments, you can use the duplicate function. This creates a separate clone of their meal in your personal book, allowing you to edit the instructions without altering their original file. By keeping interactions private and providing the tools to modify shared meals, Cuinatelia replaces endless public scrolling with a practical network where friends can actively test and iterate on each other's culinary ideas. We followed a recipe from its chaotic origins, a long ad-filled blog post or a quick voice note, through an automated extraction engine, ending up as a beautifully photographed, perfectly structured file that you can pull up offline at the store. When you remove the digital friction of manually logging ingredients and trying to remember where you saved a link, you have more time and energy to focus on actually cooking and enjoying the food. By utilizing generative AI to handle the tedious work of data entry and structuring, the technology effectively steps out of the way. It lets the focus remain entirely on the inherently human experience of cooking and sharing a meal together.